It's just a reflection of the success that they've had over the years, and particularly with this iPhone wave that they've been riding since 2007. And what's interesting is what's really to come next. I mean, the iPhone is kind of in a bit of a steady state right now. They've done this without iPhone units really haven't not grown for the past 3 years since the only super cycle that's existed, which was for the 6. So we'll see, we'll see what new products they can come up with, and if these iPhones can sustain at these levels.
So you really point out a very interesting point here. The unit volume isn't up, but the revenues are. That's because the pricing is there. People want the biggest, bestest, highest quality phone they can get, and it seems people are willing to pay for it.
And the upgrade rates are at record lows for the operators, and this is in the U.S. and around the world. People are holding on to their smartphones longer than ever. It's the most important product of their life. They're willing to spend $1,000 for it. So now the question is, these upgrade rates have gone down every year. The product cycle is lengthening. Do they stop going down? And maybe they invert up. So maybe it's easier when we're going into 2019 in terms of sustaining or maybe providing some incremental unit growth, even if they can't pull another lever on ASP and driving that higher.
Can they really not pull that lever? Everybody was so skeptical that the $1,000 phone was actually going to be a hit. I don't know if you'd call it a hit, but it certainly performed better than a lot of the skeptics really thought. I mean, this might embolden Apple to go even higher. I mean, they argue price isn't really what matters. It's the value proposition to the consumer. And if you can prove to them it's worth it, they can give you a product that they can charge even more for.
I mean, they do have that product for the high end, but what they've done in recent years is also stratified the line. We're providing price points higher and lower than they have, and maybe more diversity in terms of price points. And that could continue for these new product launches. If the price point comes down for the 10 and they add some additional higher end products, the point is how much of the base that's out there still has an iPhone 6 that they haven't upgraded. Units have not grown. Upgrade rates are at record lows. So there's a lot of people out there that still have legacy product for something that they stare at all day long, that you could see these upgrade rates stop going down. Also, the competitive dynamic of the industry could change. I mean, for the first time in many, many quarters, AT&T and Verizon's churn rate actually went up. It's been going down for years, and it actually went up this quarter for the first time in a while.
So it's an interesting sort of sweet spot to be in, I guess you'd say, Walter. Argue the other side of it, though, which would be that they really are dependent on higher upgrades, and that at some point that's the way this business grew from what a $300 billion company a few years ago to a $1 trillion company today, by upgrading the phone and creating a new demand every year or two.
That is true, and there was those of us, including myself, that were wrong years ago, saying that they should come out with like an iPhone Lite or an iPhone Mini to address the broader market, right? So they haven't done that. They've been able to get price, but they're also, during that time, have broadened the market because they're keeping legacy products on a bit longer or offering lower prices in some of these emerging markets. We had calls with América Móvil, the largest operator in Latin America, one of the largest guys in the world. They now have LTE available at a cheaper price for their consumers. They're seeing growth in what people are willing to pay in Latin America, and they're willing to finance phones. Now, look, Latin America itself is not going to be the primary driver, but it just
Walter,
shows you.
We're running out of time. I got one final question for you.
Yes.
If Apple had not gone into China, would it be worth $1 trillion today?
I mean, I think it's still a global product, but look, there's only 300 million people that are actively paying subscriptions today. So China was a big component of that. There are other emerging markets that are a component, but look, this is still a high-end product for developed market customers to continue to upgrade their phones. And we'll see how much we see those upgrade rates go up in this next cycle. Remember, this cycle was not supposed to be the super cycle, as a lot of people claimed. Right. It was an off-cycle year. This cycle coming up is the on-cycle year. Now, this is, again, not going to be a super cycle. There was only one super cycle, but all we need is for the upgrade rates to stop going down. And again, you turn what has been a 3-year headwind for this company into a bit of a tailwind.